I, for the life of me, don't understand some people's concept of life. They go and bungee jump off a bridge or parachute out of an airplane, and to them that's living life to the fullest. The adrenaline rush or whatever it takes, and they look at you and say you're not living life, you're not out there on the edge. And I think they've lost their marbles. And I might sit back and tell them that, how many minutes a day do you meditate? And they may say none. I know people that don't even know what meditation is, can't have the time for it, don't even bother with it. And I can look at them and say, you're not living life. You're not partaking of that aspect of your being that leads to your fulfillment. This is a path or an avenue, a way. There's other people that life to them is driving cars fast, dangerously, on the edge. They have all kinds of ideas. I was used to marvel at Jack LaLanne that, you know, even when he was in his 70s and I believe at the beginning of his 80s, he still was swimming out there, pulling tugboats behind him in the ocean and all of that, and obviously that was his demonstration of how young and vital he was and part of his expression about living life. But I certainly didn't feel as though I was partaking of life in a lesser fashion because I chose not to do that. I think those are individual choices, and I think most of the time when people are talking about, at least in our present world, of living life, they're talking about the physical aspects of life, the roller coaster rides. Certainly there's a group of people in the drug world that believe unless you're experiencing certain of the drugs or the hallucinogenics that they've been on, you haven't experienced life. You're missing a whole portion of life. And certainly there's another portion of the world that disagrees with that. So I think we have to look at ourselves and try and figure out what life means to us. For myself, we are partakers of life. We've given a wonderful gift. And how do we choose to express it? And by expressing it, I'm talking about how do we express that highest aspect of our being, the love, the kindness, the gentleness, the goodness that is within us. How do we find the way to express that even in the face of events and situations that we, let's say, are experiencing difficulty with? In the face of anger and hatred, how do we find the way to express love? In the face of prejudice, how do we find the way to express harmony? Those are the challenges of life that allow us to grow to the fullness of our being. And do we embrace those and place ourselves forth in what I want to call a higher manner, a more expressive manner of the virtues of life, or the less concrete, those intangibles that we can feel within ourselves, but we can't see on the outer plane. And I think the more that we fill ourselves with the intangibles, then the greater is our expression of life. And I think that happens both in the Eastern world and in the Western world. I think here there's a greater opportunity for the things that we want because of the opulence of what we have. Our danger is the more linear thinking that makes us feel as it has to be an outward expression of some physical nature that is a signpost of what's going on within us. That's a danger. In the Eastern world, clearly, the mystics, the spiritualists, put a great price on inner peace. What's bothersome to me in that world is their resolve that they can't do anything about the surroundings around them. Now we know Gandhi did something different. He did something about the surroundings. He took an active step. But first there had to be something else that had taken place within him and was accomplished. And I think that happens with us. And so I think there is a combination. There is the time of meditation, there's the time of buttressing our inner being, of fortifying ourselves, and then there's the time that we experience the attack on that. And then, depending on how well we have prepared ourselves, will lead to how well we express ourselves in the time of trial. Our scripture lesson this morning talked about the time within. The time within is an extremely important time for our growth and our moving out and becoming greater beings than we presently are. And when I say greater beings, I am talking about the expression of the intangibles, the expression of the fruits of the Spirit. Now, with those thoughts in mind, join me in our acceptance statement. Now, may the light illumine our mind with wisdom. May love fill our heart with understanding. May the one life shine forth from our innermost being, so that we walk renewed in light, life, love, today, tomorrow, and forever.